Imagine being at the end of your career with 27 years of service. You wish you could retire at that point without a penalty, and then you find out that you can because of some service that you rendered a long time ago. Well, we're going to talk about things like that with our session on service purchases. So you can actually buy additional credit towards your TRS benefit. My name is Winston Buckley, Director of Communications and Outreach with the Teachers Retirement System of Georgia, and I'm going to be talking again about service purchases and getting you to retirement eligibility. So, first, make sure that you have liked and subscribed, that you're following this channel. Make sure that you're sharing this with somebody who may needs to know this information, and come back and look at this again when you have a chance so that you can make sure that this information is cemented in your knowledge bank. Thank you again for joining us. We're going to talk about that the service purchase, excuse me, and what that means to you. Earlier today, we did the TRS formula and sick leave. So make sure that you're checking out those sessions as well. All of this together will help you maximize your TRS benefit. So what are service purchases? Service purchases are those, exactly what it is, purchases that you can make towards your service here at TRS. And we have a lot of different types of service purchases that you could be eligible for. So I'm gonna read off this list. There's airtime, maternity leave, military service, out of state, private school, PSERS, or Public Schools Employees Retirement System Service, Employees Retirement System Service, or ERS, study leave, visiting scholar, withdrawn service, and workers' compensation disability. So there's 11 different types or main types of service purchases, but some of those can get very nuanced. If you are thinking that you might be eligible for one of those service purchase types, you can go to our website. There is a section you can just Google, search. We say Google for all kind of searches now, right? So you can search for the service purchase type that you're looking for, and it will pull up on our website there, and you can find out information on what qualifies for that service purchase type. And we also have the forms there for certain service purchase types as well. Now, for some, you won't have to fill out a form, and those are withdrawn service. So if you withdrew service from Teachers Retirement System or a TRS covered employer, so say you worked for a school system or a college or a university, and you withdrew your service after you left there early in your career, you can buy that service back. We have that information here. So that's just a matter of reaching out to us. You just shoot us an email, use our contact us form, or you can call us and we can research that for you. You also can do that for Employees Retirement Service or PSERS, the Public Schools Employees Retirement Service, if you have withdrawn service there, or if you have existing service and are thinking about transferring that service, then we're all in the same building. We can research that for you and get that done. Military, the same. You don't have to turn in a form, but you'll send in your DD 214 to us, and we can take a look and see if that type of service purchase is eligible. But for the rest of them, you need to fill out one of those forms that's on our website. So, for example, for out of state service, there's a form that you will download and send to your previous employer out of state. With private school service, you will fill out a form and send that to your previous employer. Now, with the private school, it can only be within the state of Georgia. So that's the K through 12 and higher ed within the state of Georgia. Only those will count and not a private school outside of the state of Georgia. So there's different types, there's different cost calculations for each one of those as well. So there's not a set price. That's a question that I get quite often. What is the cost for service purchases? And it's one of those it depends types situations. So for withdrawn service or military service, it's typically less expensive than, say, airtime service. Now, what's airtime? Airtime service is service that you can buy without working for. So it's the only one that you don't have to work for, and you can buy additional service. But you have to have at least 25 years of service to be eligible for airtime, and you have to buy that when you put your retirement application in. So there's a window, which is a 6-month window that you have in order to buy airtime service. For the rest of the service purchase types, you can do those before you put your retirement application in. So those I highly recommend that you do as soon as possible, because with service purchases, the longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes. And why is that, Winston? Well, that's because there's interest that accrues on each type of service purchase. So if you are in a position where you're eligible for a service purchase, then I highly recommend going ahead and buying that service as soon as possible, because the longer you wait, then the higher that service purchase will be for you. Now, if you get a cost calculation from us, let's say you are looking to buy out of state service and you have 5 years that you want to buy, you don't have to buy all 5 of those years at one time. So let's say you have enough saved to buy 1 year, then you can buy one of those years, continue to save, and buy another year. So that's one way to go about it. If you have funds, let's say in a 401k, the same principle would matter. You can transfer what you have, build that back up, and then buy more service over time. Another question that I get quite often is, can I buy my service in installments? So not necessarily. So again, you can buy it in years or partial years. So let's say you have half a year that you accrue for a fiscal year, you can buy that. You can buy 1 year at a time, but you can't send in payments to TRS to buy your service in installments like a monthly service purchase plan. That is not something that you can do. But a lot of people will use a 401k or a 403b or a 457b plan or an IRA and save money once they find out how much the service costs, or they'll use their personal savings. Once they find out how much it costs, they just start socking money away in order to buy that service. But again, the longer you wait, the more expensive it becomes for you. So this is one of those things where, again, if you're in a position to buy, then you want to go ahead and do that. Now, there are some instances where you want to do an evaluation before you buy your service. One example would be out of state. So if you have, let's say, 15 years of service in South Carolina and you're thinking about transferring that service here to Georgia, well, the max that you can apply here in Georgia is 10 years of service. So you would basically be forfeiting those 5 years of service out of state if you decided to transfer those 10 years. So is it worth it in that example to transfer the 10 years and forfeit the 5 in order to have that service here? Some people will say no, and it would be better just to have 2 different retirements. So retire from South Carolina and retire from Georgia and have 2 benefits coming in. Some will say that it's better to transfer that service in if your highest salary is here in Georgia. So for example, let's say you were making $50,000 over the course of your career. Your highest salary was $50,000 in South Carolina. You got some advanced degrees, got some promotions here in Georgia, and now you're making $100,000. Well, some will say that it's beneficial to transfer that 10 years for 55 because your overall benefit will be higher. So in that case, you want to, one, get a benefit estimate with us. You can talk to one of our counselors if you are within 5 years of service out in the field, within 2 years if you want to come to the Atlanta or Macon office. But you can get a benefit estimate if you are within 5 years of eligibility, and you can get that with and without a service purchase. So that's one way to see what the difference will be. And talking to a financial advisor, a good financial advisor, and especially ones that is familiar with TRS or pension plans, can give you some solid advice around, is it worth it to transfer the funds from out of state, or if you have a sizable 401k or 403b built up, is it advisable to transfer that money from there into your TRS benefit? Obviously, secured or guaranteed benefit would, in most cases, is better than something that can fluctuate. However, it doesn't always make sense. So that is one of the reasons why it's good to have a financial advisor or seek financial advice, not only about your TRS, but in cases where you're thinking about making a service purchase as well. So again, I highly recommend going to our website to look at those service purchase types or shooting us an email using our contact us form on our website if you have questions about something that you did in the past. Another question that I get often is about is a temporary work that I did in college. Like if I was a teacher's aide or a student assistant while I was in college, I was working full time as a student assistant. Will that count? Typically not. If it's a temporary position, even if you were working full time, typically that does not count towards a service purchase that you can buy. The same would be the case for something that's privately held, even if it's within the public sector. So there are some Head Start type programs or some pre-K foundation programs. Even though they work with the school systems, they are not TRS covered employer and not necessarily a full-time position. But if you have some that are kind of nuanced like that, then that's a good reason to reach out, use our contact us form, and find out if that's a type of service that you can buy. So I'm going to jump into some of these questions here to see if there's anything that's out there. If you have any questions about making a service purchase, all right. So out of state service, you can buy again out of state service. It has to be public. So private schools again out of state will not count towards your TRS benefit. All right. Military. Now, there are different types of military service, and this is a blend between military and out of state. American dependent schools is an example. So it's where you were teaching technically out of state, or it could be out of the country on a military base. So that will fall under the out of state, but it has to be certified or verified through the American Dependent Schools or through that body that governs that military school. So that one is technically out of state, even though it's military. With the military service, you can't be expecting a pension benefit from the military. So for example, if you are vested with the military and are anticipating a retirement benefit there, then you cannot use that service to retire under TRS and under the military using those same years. Let's say if you have active duty and you have 5 years of active duty service, which is not enough to retire under the military, then those years you can use towards your TRS benefit. There are some exceptions, but a lot of people don't qualify for those. However, again, this is one of those cases where you might want to reach out, use our contact us form, and we can look at that for you. So here's another question, and this is a common one. What about as a long-term substitute in a different state? This is one of those situations where it could be temporary. So what you'll have to do is download that out-of-state certification form, send it to your previous employer. Once we get it back, depending on the information that we get back, we can determine if it's eligible or not. Typically in the state of Georgia, that is not a service type that counts. So long-term substitutes, because that is a temporary position. There could be some exceptions, and in that case, go ahead and get that form filled out. We'll review it, and then we can let you know if that is eligible or not. Another question here, can I buy airtime to make it to 30 years of service time before turning 55? So 55 meaning 55 years of age. So yes, with years of service, it's not limited by your age. So if you have 27 years of service that you built up, let's say you're 47 years old. So there's some people who start working under a TRS covered employer at age 20, some at age 18. So if you're 20 years old when you started, you're 47 now, you have 27 years of service, you want to buy 3 years of airtime, you can go ahead and do that. Retire at age 47 with 30 years of service, and that's a 60% benefit that you'll have for the rest of your lifetime. So yes, you can do that prior to the age of 55. So you're not limited by your age with airtime and really any type of service purchase type. So again, want to say that again, go to our website, www.trsga.com, to review the different types of service purchases that we have there. We have our members guide that goes into it in more detail as well. Come back and look at this video and go on YouTube as well to look at longer form videos that has information about service purchases. And we're here to help you. So reach out to us using our contact us form on our website, or if you need an updated cost calculation for your service purchase, you can go into your TRS account and request that there. So that wraps up our session today. If you haven't seen the ones that we did earlier on sick leave and the TRS formula, make sure that you check those out as well. Again, like and follow us so that you get notifications when we go live. Sometimes it might surprise you. We'll pop up live and you might be on your way into work or on vacation. You want to learn a little bit more about your benefit, then that's a great way to make sure that you're notified by making sure you're liking and subscribing to us. So until next time, we will be doing more of these, but until then, we hope that you enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of this summer. Thank you.